Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Jamie, and this will be a reading for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. If you are new to tarot, just understand there are some rules. We'll start with the fact that this is a public reading meant for tons of people. And so it's quite possible that not every Scorpio reading is going to resonate with you. If you feel like I'm wrong or this just isn't your story, just disregard the reading. Don't make it fit. Don't get offended by it. Just throw it away. I'm going to pull cards like King, Queen, Emperor, and Empress. Those cards describe a really specific personality, and they have nothing to do with sex or gender. So if I pull an Emperor, I could be talking about a woman, and if I pull a Queen, I could be talking about a man. No gender. If you want more readings, you can subscribe to the channel. I'd be really grateful as well. It'll notify you every time I post. I also offer a membership if you want to catch any extended readings or get a private personal. That's the only way to do that. But if you click the join button, it'll show you all the other perks. It'll take you over to the membership tab and show you all the videos there. Okay, so we're doing a general love reading. Sometimes people say the energy is reversed. Go ahead and take it that way if that feels right. Okay, so the main energy is the Empress. This is Venus energy, Libra, Taurus energy. We have the King of Pentacles, the Magician, Virgo, Gemini, and the Fool, Aquarius energy, supporting the Empress. At the bottom of the deck, challenging it, we have the Queen of Swords. So we have the Ten of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, the Five of Pentacles. So, okay, this is kind of what I'm getting with the Keep an Open Mind card. It says, your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. Some of you are overthinking something. Here's the thing, right? I think that somebody here is dealing with someone who may have children with someone else, or, you know, they just have an ex that they were with for like ever or something. And there's some, I want to say, overthinking. Like, I feel like you're dealing with the person and it's still new, and to you, you're afraid to get real caught up and look stupid in the end. It's like, you know, this person exists, which should be a green flag. You know who they are and all that. But to you, this person will always be a threat in the relationship, or like you're looking at it like it could turn out like that. Now, I want to say that perhaps you've dealt with a situation like this before, you know, where someone just had like a long-term ex that, you know, maybe their whole family loved and all of their friends knew, and it just seemed like you were always living in that person's shadow, and you feel like this might be the same type of situation. Or, you know, maybe the relationship with the person that you had in your life was real back and forth like that, you know, and maybe you're perceiving other people's relationships to be like that as well. Some of you could have dealt with someone before who just straight up like lied about a relationship that they had like this, you know, and I think that that's the problem here. I don't feel like this person is presenting anything weird. This is just like a trigger for you. I think that there's just, a lot around the situation. Like, you could feel like you might want to just kind of like leave this alone because this person, either has been married and has kids, or just like has kids, or there's something going on there about children and another person. This would be like if I had an ex-boyfriend and he cheated on me with his baby mother, who he lied to my fucking face about mad times. I probably would never want to trust someone in that same situation again. But the truth is, lots of us are out here with children by people that we just straight up don't like, don't fuck with, and don't even really talk to. Lots of parents exchange kids via cars. It's like that sometimes, But, I mean, like, maybe we got to look into the trust issue here. We got to look into some parts of ourselves that still are triggered by things that can make people appear to be different than they actually are. Because I don't feel like this person is dealing, with two people. That's not what I'm seeing here. If that's your situation, this is just not your reading. I'm seeing someone here who handles their responsibilities and is honest. But also I'm getting that for some of you, it's kind of like it's an awkward situation because you can only see this person at certain times. Like for some of you, like this is a really new thing. Like you have not met their children or like their baby mother or anything like that. You know what I mean? The relationship's just not there. And so when they have their kids, you're not around and you don't trust that, But actually that's really healthy. Like if you had kids with a person, would you want everybody just all up in their face? No, you only want people that are going to be serious around, right? So I think that these situations are always tricky because people do lie. Anyone can lie to you though, they don't have to have kids involved or whatever. But I also think you're making up excuses to just walk away from people here. When somebody presents the situation in a way that it can't be trusted, when you've kind of been dealing with the person long enough, I think that for this, it's like, well, there's already a red flag to me, and this is new, and I should probably leave it alone. So we got the Ten of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the Devil, Capricorn energy, and the Moon, Pisces energy. Bottom of the deck, the Seven of Cups. Yeah, to somebody it's already too confusing. Maybe this reading is also for a cross watcher. Maybe somebody's like trying to figure out what it is. Like what it is that has a person sort of like pulling away or pushing away a Scorpio person. It's the baggage. Somebody doesn't trust the situation. And it's early enough to pull away or to back out without getting hurt or really hurting the other person. It's almost like there's no harm, no foul. I'm not going to deal with this. I don't feel comfortable with it. And even if the person's overthinking it, like personally me, like if I didn't feel like I'm not going to sit around and look for evidence that like you're not still fucking with your ex. If intuitively I feel like there's still an attachment there or there's something that I can't trust, or I just feel like the relationship would be hard for a person to balance me plus that, plus their job, plus life. Sometimes these things happen. It happens to single moms all the fucking time. All the fucking time. They just don't have any time to go out or be played with, and sometimes in the opposite direction. But it's just kind of, I think one person doesn't have the same lifestyle as the other. They feel like the two of you are not compatible for some reason like this. Someone also feels like, like the other person is still attached in some type of way. Like if they were to, like technically if they were to get into this situation, they would just be walking in blindly because they already feel some type of way, and it's like it's still too early. This is the predicament. Like say I'm Scorpio, right? And I like a person, we're talking or whatever, and we hang out sometimes, but like, this person's never available on weekends because they always have their kids. And then they work the weekdays. So basically I can hang out with this person like during sexy time hours. I may stray from that. Because while I'm technically not your girlfriend, there's kind of like no benefit to me outside of sex. We can't like hang out whenever, I'm not like around, like I got to stick around for a long time before I can have anything to do with your kids, which means I'm single every motherfucking weekend, like I feel like to one person, there's too much confusion. They're not really sure. And because it's new and they don't trust it, they're just not going to do it. So I'm with Scorpio on this. I would move the same way. It's like I move based off of my intuition. It doesn't matter what you're presenting to me. It doesn't matter if I'm wrong. All I know is that it's not going to work for me. Now, you could be a little too close-minded with this. Like some of y'all like may really be overthinking this. You're like, nah, I've been down that road before. I'm not doing that shit. And it's up to you, right? But some of you, I think this is a decent person, that they're not dealing with like an ex or anything. But, I also think it's fair that if you just feel like something's not going to work out and down the road, two people are going to hurt each other, it's better to not get into it. That's fair. That's fair. I do. I feel like I am reading for Scorpio, but I feel like there's some cross watchers over here that are confused by a Scorpio. And I think this is where Scorpio and Cancer like really have a commonality, is that there is some emotional intelligence. That's going to hurt in 6 months, so I'm not going to do it. I don't trust that initially, so I'm going to continue to not trust it. So I'm just not going to deal with you. I'm just going to save you and me the fucking time and the heartache. I don't, because this situation's deeper too. Somebody has kids somewhere. You know what I mean? Like the worst fucking thing you could ever do is get seriously attached to someone's kids and it doesn't work. So it's like, it's like that type of situation where somebody is not being an asshole. They are really thinking about the long term and whether or not like something would work. And to them, it just wouldn't, and out of self-respect and respect for the other person, they feel like it's best to end it while it's still new and fresh before it gets toxic and confusing and heartbreaking. So, somebody's actually just dealing with a Scorpio who's quite mature. I think they tried, I think already somebody just isn't someone's usual type and they did try. And maybe they are getting the wrong picture. Maybe someone is a great person, but there's just too much baggage for whoever this person is specifically. Like they could be open-minded about the ex and the children and everything, but then it's like, there's all this added, oh, you don't have any time for me, we can't ever do anything. So like the benefit of this, it would be that a few nights a week I could stay at your house before we go to work in the morning. Like nobody, like somebody doesn't want that. They want something very specific. So what's the advice here for Scorpio? The Seven of Swords, Strength, Leo energy, and the Nine of Swords. To me, what I'm looking at here is understanding how to control oneself. And I just to be clear, if you are cross-watching, this is not easy for the Scorpio to do. They're actually quite worried about it. I think that they thought there was some chemistry. They were very open-minded about something at first. But they just don't feel safe. They just don't feel safe, and they feel like they need to practice self-control and self-respect and just say no. Remember that sometimes when we meet people, we're just a test they have to pass. It's okay for them to say no to us if we're not fitting something that they need. What would be bad is if they were to pretend like things were going to be okay, get our feelings involved, and then, later things don't work out. So I am going to do it extended. I just want to see what would happen if you did stick around. Like if this person is really serious, if over time things would look differently. If you can't make it over there, hopefully this advice was helpful in some kind of way. And I'll see you guys soon.